Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Xbox Life episode 502 XCloud. I am Mark, aka Wingman 709, and with me, as always, is Rob.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Rob, also known as the destroyer of all things, including streaming software.
You got that right.
Apparently so.
Anyways, hopefully everybody can hear us this time around. I guess we'll know in a few minutes. But let's move on. You can listen live on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube every Sunday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific. We are not affiliated with Microsoft or the Xbox in any way. This is a show being done by fans for fans of the Xbox. Views and opinions expressed in this show do not necessarily reflect those of Microsoft. How's that?
Perfecto alamundo.
All right, people out there, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. Can you hear us? Can you not? I need to know. I need deets. And can you
I can hear you.
us now? Yeah, but can you hear me on the stream?
Yes.
Yay. All right, so let's move on.
I hear both of us.
That's a good thing. That's kind of important when you're doing a podcast.
Yes.
Video could be overrated, but audio is kind of important. All right. Anyways, that's a good segue into, well, it's not a segue, but that's a real good example of something that we'll talk about later. We'll come back to this. So, Rob, I know it's been a couple of weeks and people have wondered what happened to us. Basically, work, diseases, travel, life, good and bad has all gotten in the way. So let's see if we've did you get any games in that time frame.
Nope. Oh, I think. Well, I played Clash Royale. That goes without saying. But other than that, I think it was this week. It's all a blur right now, but I think I played a little bit of Forza. And I think that's about it. The other thing I've been doing is I got nuked by that Windows 10 update that's been making the news lately, which is a heck of a lot of fun. So I have a machine that I've been running, I think since like 2009 or 2010. It was originally a Windows 8 machine that got upgraded to 8.1, and it's made it through all the early releases of Windows 10 and so forth. And it lasted all that time, at least 8 years, and it got whacked in one day by Microsoft's stupid update. And that was a lot of fun. And as I was starting to tell you, Mark, because I don't think I mentioned this earlier, other than the first go around that we did with the show when we weren't broadcasting our audio, is I spent, I don't even know how many hours trying to get the system to boot. And it was an exercise in futility. I mean, I've got one disk, right? I've got one hard drive. It's an SSD. Well, I have another one, but I took it out. I have one disk drive in the system, an SSD. Windows boots up. It gets the little logo, and then it goes inaccessible boot device. Are you freaking kidding me? You already booted. You already booted. You're halfway to starting. And then you tell me you can't access the disk that you just booted off of. and you know, I'm a little fed up with all the junk that they have on YouTube and these websites. You know, just because somebody can type an article into Front Page, remember Front Page, the old Microsoft web publishing thing? Just because you can type something into Front Page and put it up as a website, as like an article, doesn't mean that it's got any useful information in it. There's so much junk and useless information. And what is it with these guys that post these videos on YouTube and they can't talk? Instead, they open up Notepad and they type to you. Have you ever seen these?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes. I
Yeah,
told him.
it's like, you know, are,
It's a
can
video. There
you,
should be audio with it.
right? And they're like typing like, what you need to do is this. It's like, why are you serious? It's 2018. Microphones are a dime a dozen. Every system has it. If you can get software to screen capture your machine, you can get your audio into that computer. I know you have the technical knowledge to do that. Or they have, or there was like one that I saw too that had computer voice. So somebody like did like the voice synthesizer thing where they typed it into something and it like
Yep.
read it out loud.
Yes, that's
Uh,
annoying.
yeah. And anyway, so there's a lot of garbage out there. And, I wasted so much time. And in the end, I spent probably too much time on it. I should have called it quits, but I was determined. I really didn't want to rebuild the system
Right.
at that point. I was hoping that I could recover it, but whatever happened with the system, it like jacked up my thing to the point. So what had happened was when Windows does its update, it copies like the Windows directory and then I think program files and a bunch of other things all into this directory called windows.old. So it wasn't booting. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can repair this manually because I found this article that explains kind of how the system works. And supposedly, if you can copy those directories back to where they belong, so like rename the ones that are currently there, copy those back, and then you change this thing with the bootloader, these like 2, 3 files, that's like manually putting it all back, right? And at one point, I saw all that stuff there. And as I was rebooting, the stupid system deleted it. So it deleted my windows.old directory. And it's just like, oh, come on. And I mean, at that point, I,
Just hit the
you
big red
know,
button, man.
yeah, at that point, I, um, I just gave up on it. And then, like that particular day, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had to get up for work soon. And it's just like, forget it. And so, what I think had happened, and maybe this has something to do with the longevity of my system, but it looks like when Windows installs itself, it creates some empty like partitions to store stuff in. So there's like a system reserve partition. So it looks like the system might boot off of that. And I could be wrong, maybe just my interpretation. It was late. I was frustrated. I was like you, Mark. I was like, now I know how Mark feels. But what I think had happened was that it boots off of that system reserve partition and then it points to the other partition where it actually loads Windows. So something was jacked up in the pointers. I don't know if it's just because it was such an old system. Because back in the day when it was XP, I remember reinstalling Windows XP like 2, 3 times a year. It was like, do you remember that? It's like the system would get really funky and then you kind of just had to blow it away and restart from scratch. Well,
Yeah,
you
and for
know,
those joining, we will get to Xbox eventually.
yeah, yeah. But yeah. Oh, and the
You
thing
should
that I
have taken
started to
the
talk
rant
about.
over this week.
Yeah, maybe this is my early rant. I apologize for doing it out of order. But so I found this really awesome recovery disk on the Windows 10 forums. And I mean, it's amazing. This guy put this thing together. I loaded it on this particular USB drive right here. And it's got so many tools on there. It's fantastic. Like everything from file copying to Windows recovery to, imaging and stuff like that. And so it had some kind of old version of a Cronus True Image, Disk Image, whatever it's called. And so before I blew my system away, what I like to do is I like to image the hard drive just in case I need to get something off of it that I didn't think of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it's like I copied off as much as I could. I think I don't know how much of the data is there or if any of it's gone, but